the Japanese art of purpose or the reason for being. It's called Ikigai. And this is something that has become very popular now on TikTok. So if you're on TikTok, you've probably seen somebody talking about Ikigai. And how does this go? Well, Ikigai is based around this idea of exploring all that which you love, all that which you're good at, all that which you do in exchange for value, and all that which you believe the world needs more of. And I realize that I'm going pretty fast here, but maybe you have to slow this down and go back and play it again so you can take notes. But I want to get through this so that you feel like you're getting all the information that you need. Now, how I specifically do this with people is that on day one of journaling, I just say, I want you to allow yourself to just write about everything that you love. And I mean everything at every level of your life. This can be hanging out with friends. This can be drinking coffee. This can be playing music. This can be listening to podcasts. It can be reading books, whatever it may be. Just write about all that which you love. And for a lot of people, writing about all that which they love can take a long time. So it may be more than one day of journaling. It can be even a week of journaling. But I encourage people to at least dedicate 10 to 20 minutes on just allowing stream of consciousness to just come out and express that which they love. Once they've done that, the second step is now writing and journaling about all that which they consider themselves good at, competent at, that which they feel like is a skill set that they have, whether it's something that they've developed naturally or something that they have developed through work or schooling or whatever it may be. But just allowing themselves to write. And at this level of journaling, something very interesting happens, which is people start to wrestle with an identity. This is the first time you really start to wrestle with this idea of whether that which you think you are and do really is that. And this is actually the root of people starting to self-sabotage and do things that are not conducive for their growth. But this is the chance to kind of break through that and really just take ownership of the things that you are actually skilled at, that you do well. And one of the exercises that I like to do with people is that when they start to experience some dissonance, meaning that they're not really sure whether they're really good at this and if they're making it up or not, to ask their friends and family, people that they really care about and really trust, and to have them tell them what they're skilled at and what they're good at. And when they are told, to write that down, to allow themselves to put it down in writing. So that's the second phase of their journaling practice. And then when they've gone through that phase, then they go into journaling and writing about that which they do in exchange for value. And a lot of times the best way to start this is to start with the obvious, which usually has to do with money. It's writing about all that which you do in exchange for money. What does your work look like? And then once you've kind of covered that, then you can start to see value in other ways in your life. And this can be how you exchange your time and energy, your skill sets, how you provide or exchange resources. And when you've done that, you start to become aware of how your skill sets, that which you're good at, translates into making an impact that gives you something, that provides something for you. And that exchange, becoming aware of that exchange, is something that allows you to root your thinking and your deliberate practice and your awareness into everything else that you do, whether it's something that you love or something that you're doing as purely a means to an end. And we can dive into what that means more in this podcast or maybe a future one. Anyways, when you've finally gone through the journaling of exploring all that which you do in exchange for value, then it comes down to exploring all that which you do. It comes down to exploring all that which you believe the world needs more of. And this is where you get to think a little bigger, and you are encouraged to think about the world a little bit more, to think about our collective relationship on this planet. And sometimes this is challenging for people because they may feel kind of insignificant at that level of awareness. They may feel like, well, I'm just a dude trying to figure it out. What do I know? What what the world needs more of? How can I have any idea what that is? And this is where when people run into this moment of just feeling like, who am I to say what the world needs more of? I encourage them to explore what they need more of. What is it that you need more of? And when they start to explore what they need more of, they start to realize that that is also influenced by their circle, by their communities, by their culture, by their countries, by that which they hear in the media, by that which they hear or see when scrolling through TikTok or Instagram or whatever it may be. And in that moment, realizing that that which the world needs more of is simply a mirror to that which you need more of. And when you realize that that which you need more of is that which others need more of, all of a sudden you get this sense of connection. And the sense of connection is you being able to finally notice how your inner game, your inner world, has huge influence and vice versa on your outer world. And regardless of your magnitude of awareness, the amount of awareness you have, that little bit of awareness translates into new ways of expressing yourself, and that new way of expressing yourself making 1 degree of difference. And even though that 1%, that 1 degree, that 1 point of difference may seem small, over time, it becomes something huge. And this is where I like to share this idea that comes from navigation, which is the 1/60 rule, which says that for every degree that you're off course after 60 miles traveled, you will be 1 mile off course. Thus, it's really important in our practices, in our ways of thinking about how we're expressing ourselves in the world, to try to get on course towards that which we care about the most, to that which we're trying to achieve, to get on course by 1 degree every day. And this is kind of like what a lot of coaches like to say, 1% better. Eventually, you're going to be at 100% or trending towards 100%. And that's where you want to be. You want to be in that state where you're moving towards that which you want to achieve. And this is where now, in the process of journaling around Ikigai, you're coming full circle. You started with that which you love. You went through that which you do, you went into that which you're skilled at or talented in. And then you went into that which you do in exchange for value. Then you go into that which you believe the world needs more of, and then you come back to the place where you started, which is that which you love. And this is kind of like a Venn diagram, that when you see the overlap between that which you love, that which you're good at, that which you do in exchange for value, and that which you believe the world needs more of, you realize that the overlap between that which you love and that which you're good at is usually your passion. The overlap between that which you're good at and that which you do in exchange for value usually represents your profession. That which you do in exchange for value and that which you believe the world needs more of, that represents your vocation. And there's a difference here between profession and vocation. A profession is that which you do mechanically to provide an exchange of value. That which is your vocation is not only the value exchange that occurs, but it's the impact that value exchange creates. It's that which overflows and goes beyond the mechanism or the transaction of one's profession. But then there's one thing missing here that you don't notice when you're journaling about all these different things, which is that there's an overlap between that which you believe the world needs more of and that which you love. And that overlap right there is your mission. And this is where it gets really exciting, because your mission is the one thing, the one liner that cuts through everything that you are and everything that you do. And this is where, in the interface experience, I encourage people to write out their mission statement. And to write out this mission statement, people can write it however they want, but I like to use 5 different questions that help people access their mission statement. And the questions are the following. They are: who are you? Or at least, who do you think you are? What do you do? Who do you do it for? What do they need? And when they get their needs met, what impact do you make? So those are the 5 questions. When you can answer those 5 questions, you'll notice that you'll have a fair amount of words on your piece of paper. The goal is to curate that into one simple line or sentence that you can relate to. And when you can do that, you will have a mission. And that mission is something that you can always come back to. It actually becomes the baseline of what you do, which means that regardless of what state of evolution you're in, what state of adaptation you're in, whatever you may be experiencing on a daily basis, you can always return to what is my mission, and then operating through that mission. And being able to do that, giving you a level of consistency that is going to guarantee you to produce results and to create from a place of cohesiveness, coherence with who you are, because it embodies those things that make you who you are, which is that which you love, that which you are good at, that which you do in exchange for value. And now, something that's interesting here is that when you look at your passion, your profession, and your vocation, those 3 elements are like the 3 legs of a tripod, that when they are taken care of and they are at the same length, they provide a very stable platform. And this very stable platform is where you can place your mission at the top, and that mission becoming the lens, that mission becoming the direction. And that is something that you get to explore through journaling, and that improves the way that you interface with yourself, thus how you interface with the world.